It's a very good morning to all of you students. We are once again going to find Mr. Official YouTube channel, and it is an academic text, and that is the poetry section, which is poem number two, Keeping Quiet by Pablo Neruda. A very marvelous poem, and it is an important for not only the academic but also leaving a message to the entire humanity. And in this poem, the Pablo Neruda has a simple theme, but which has universal appeal. And this poem, the poet Pablo Neruda describes that he wants you to count from 1 to 12 to make a silence in there. He appeals the readers to be keep quiet. And during this moment, there is not much physical movement. And we will have to stand in an hour for a moment to think for ourselves and about your activity and where we are going to as far as the aim or purpose is concerned. It is very necessary for all of us that what are we doing and where we are leading. As we know, in the modern world, we are too much engrossed to the money, to gain money without thinking of our future generation as well as how to save the humanity. We are so much advanced in the society that we have developed nuclear weapons, and we are talking about the war which is with fire and gas. And in such a situation, if there is war, the things will be catastrophic. We shall lose all our creativity as well as the entire human perspective. And after that, the young generation will in great trouble after losing all the creativity and finding in a strange atmosphere. That's why the poet Pablo Neruda appeals the readers to keep quiet, to think for a moment. It is an introspection to think deeply about our doing. And also he symbolizes a very nice personification with the lines, perhaps the earth can teach us. Perhaps he used silence. It means that when we are living beings are ignoring the fact, the reality of life, in such a situation, the earth can teach us to live together with love and friendship, fraternity, which we are going to losing because of the selfishness of our own feeling. And we are ignoring that the entire human being are living on this earth. And when we are going to develop, we will have to think about our future generation and also about the existence of other living beings. As we find our environment too much polluted that we can't expect to live a peaceful life. In such a situation, it would be an exotic moment when you feel like a strangeness, when you have to maintain a peace and silence, suddenness. But it is the moment when we reflect our activity and all the ideology which is surrounding us. And for this perspective, we have to maintain peace to understand ourselves and also the others to avoid the situation like war. The world is full of beauty, the world is full of wonder, the world is full of so many varieties, and it is our responsibility to maintain and protect this. Now, the questions based on this poem is concerned, there are the few important questions suggesting to you. The first one, why does the poet Pablo Neruda appeal the readers to keep quiet? The answer is very simple. The poet Pablo Neruda appeals the readers to keep quiet, to think deeply of themselves and their activity to maintain the peace in the world. Question number two, what kind of movement it would be? ये किस प्रकार का क्षण होगा? It would be an exotic moment where we cannot spread our arms, legs too much like at that time. What does the poet want to say when he is going to count from 1 to 12. जब वो 1 से 12 तक की गिनती करेगा तो किसके बारे में बात कर रहा है? So the poetess wants the readers to maintain a peace and silence to reflect their ideas to their lyrics. And now we are going to move. There is a poetic device as far as the stanza is concerned, where there is a line. Perhaps the earth can teach us. Earth is a non-living one, but whenever we are going to present it, the activity like teaching or somewhere it is just belonging to as an inanimate, and hence we find it a personification. When something living ones working like, when something non-living ones working like living ones, as far as the person is concerned, it is a personification. So the line, perhaps the earth can teach us, has a poetic diction and which is a personification. The poem has a universal appeal as far as the maintaining peace is concerned. It is necessary for the entire uh, people in the world to think, as we are going to just close to the Third World War, where we are going to talk about the nuclear war, which is a more dangerous than all this, and it may be harmful to the world and the entire living beings on the planet. We have to save the planet to maintain the peace, to make up ourselves, to understand ourselves and to understand others. Now, we have some points based on the central idea of the poem, as Pablo Neruda is in this central idea of the poem, keeping quiet. In this poem, the poet Pablo Neruda appeals the readers for an introspection, to think deeply about their own working style, about their own way of lifestyle, where they are leading to. He appeals the readers to maintain peace in the life, to avoid the situation like war. When we think about ourselves, we find that what is the reality of life, and then we understand others, to make a friendship and to spread love among the people and to save the entire humanity, avoiding the situation like hate and some other ways. The poem is full of moral as well as an universal appeal. So this varies the central idea of the poem. Now, as some students feel the difficulty to find the particular terminology as well as the meaning in this perspective, hence I am going to express my view especially on this poem in Hindi version. इस कविता में कवि पेब्लो नेरुदा शांत रहने की अपील करता है। जैसा कि ये जो कविता है, इस कविता में शांति की आवश्यकता इसलिए है क्योंकि जो है लोग विचार करें कि उन्होंने अपने आप को और साथ ही साथ कितना नुकसान इस वातावरण को फैलाया है। जैसा कि वो लोग पूरी तरीके से कार्यरत हैं और कार्यरत होने के साथ साथ वह यह विचार नहीं कर पा रहे हैं कि उससे पर्यावरण को कितना नुकसान पहुंच रहा है। आज हम व्यक्तिगत स्वार्थपरता में धनोपार्जन हेतु इतना ज्यादा आगे निकल चुके हैं कि शायद हम स्वयं विचार नहीं कर पा रहे हैं कि हम इस भागदौड़ में कहां पर पहुंच रहे हैं। वस्तुतः स्थिति यह है कि समय रहते अगर हमने ये विचार नहीं किया तो हम अन्य वन्य जीवों को नुकसान पहुंचाएंगे ही, समस्त मानवता को भी नष्ट करने पर तुल जाएंगे। जैसा कि इस कविता में दर्शाया गया है कि कुछ लोग ऐसे हैं जो हरित युग की बात करते हैं, अगर इस प्रकार से वो विचारधारा अपनाते ही बिना विचारे उन्होंने कार्य कर लिया तो ये समस्त मानवता के लिए खतरा होगा। साथ ही साथ जो वन्य जीव धरती पर हैं उनके लिए भी अपने आप में खतरा होगा और यहाँ से सभ्यता के मिटने के आसार है। इसीलिए कवि अंत में निष्कर्ष करता है कि ऐसे युद्ध में विजय श्री तो किसी को भी मिल सकती है, लेकिन जो आने वाली जनरेशंस हैं, जो पीढ़ियां हैं, वो ऐसे माहौल में रहेंगी जहाँ पर सब कुछ वहाँ पर विचित्र और अजीब होगा और वे नए वातावरण में होंगे जहाँ पर उन्हें कुछ भी समझ में नहीं आएगा और वे पूरी तरीके से एक दूसरे के साथ बड़े ही विचित्र रूप में व्यवहार करेंगे। इसलिए जो कवि है वो पाठकों से यही अनुरोध करता है कि वे शांत हों, एक बार मनन और चिंतन करें और ये समझें कि स्वाभाविक रूप से हमारी जीवन शैली कैसी होनी चाहिए, हमारा एक दूसरे के प्रति दृष्टिकोण कैसा होना चाहिए। हम पुनः जो है उस सामाजिक प्रेम और सामंजस्य को स्थापित करें और मित्रता का भाव रखें, प्रेम से जीवन जिए, ताकि जो शांति है वो हमारे जीवन के लिए अत्यंत आवश्यक है। और इसीलिए जो कवि है वो बार बार इस कविता में शांत रहने की अपील करता है, ताकि हम स्वयं कुछ समय के लिए आत्मचिंतन करें और अपना मार्गदर्शन करके जीवन में शांत और सुखमय जीवन की ओर प्रस्तुत हो। यही इस कविता का लक्ष्य है। आप सब लोग इस पर विचार करेंगे, इसको सुन करके पढ़ेंगे और अभ्यास करें। परीक्षा आने वाली है, तो इसलिए आपके लिए आवश्यक है कि आप इसको पढ़ें, और कहीं कोई समस्या होती है तो आप अनेकों माध्यमों से सूचित करके उस प्रश्नों का निराकरण कर सकते हैं। देखने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। Very good morning to all of you, the students in this session, and we are now going to discuss about the poem number 3 from class 12th standard, A Thing of Beauty. In this poem, the poet John Keats describes about the beauty, which is not for a short time, but it is for a long one. According to whom, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It means the beauty does not fade, but also moves away, and it also gets more attraction. And it helps all of us who are sick, who are downcast, and create a peaceful atmosphere around us to provide us a sleep which is full of rest, and an atmosphere where we can take free breath and free thinking. And also it is a boon for those who are broken in health, and also who are negative in ideas. The beauty creates an atmosphere where things is just a totally difference. It refreshes all of us with mind, intelligence, and also the creative approach, so that we can enjoy the life in peaceful atmosphere. In this poem, the poet glorifies a thing of beauty which always provides joy for all of us. It has been seen that in man's life there is always stress, anxiety, fear, and depression like things. But whenever thing of beauty, which is in different forms, sometimes the physical, and sometimes the spiritual, and sometimes the purity of mind. But the most important thing is the purity of mind and the purity of thought, and as well as the purity of spirit, which are just like a soothing air. And with the help of this, he feels himself comfortable. And in such a situation, it is a tonic for all of them. And whenever we talk about the beauty, especially for all of us, that when we are downcast, when we are depression, then we need something, the positive ideas, which is through the great writers that help us to overcome a kind of depression, a kind of negative approach in life. And as far as the natural beauty is concerned, it is reflected in the poem through trees, forest, and springs, and all of these help the wild animals as well as in the forest to provide them comfort. For an example, the sheep are enjoying the beautiful things in the nature as sunlight, as the moon light, as well as the water that from the river. And in the forest, there is seen a different types of natural sights, a kind of fragrance by the flowers that is spread out on the soil in the forest. There is muskdeer and also the daffodils. That are the flowers that always create a fragrant air in the forest where there is desolation for some time. So these are the things that beautifies as a living one, but now there are also the dead one who become a great in their life and also glorifies all of us with their important writings, lessons that they have stored in their books. And their books, even after the death, always glorifies us, always benefits us their listen from someone is. They emerge as an immortal drink and somehow force us to a heaven's age. Thus, the mighty dead ones also have their potential to beautify and glorify all of us. The poem is a metaphorical approach. The line "A thing of beauty is a joy forever" refers to the poetic diction metaphor. And in this poem, the poetess uses the imagery as the keep quiet boar as well as the forest, daffodils, and also the musk deer, a kind of imagery that beautifies the poem in a rhetorical tone. And now the few important questions from this poem are: how does the poet John Keats regard a thing of beauty? And the answer is: the poet regards a thing of beauty a joy forever. Its loveliness increases and it never comes into nothingness. Question number two: how does it help the people to provide them comfortable atmosphere? ये लोगों को किस प्रकार आरामदायक वातावरण प्रदान करती है? A thing of beauty creates a bower for all of us to provide us good sleep and a good health to live a life full of comfort. Question number three: how does it help for those people who are depressed and anxious or completely in stress? A thing of beauty also emerges from thought of beauty and hence it always guides us to become a positive one in life and it is an inspiration for those who are depressed and downcast in life. Now the question number next is: how does a thing of beauty to be a boon for the simple sheep and other animals in the forest? किस प्रकार से सुंदरता नामक चीज भेड़ और अन्य जीवों के लिए जंगल में वरदान के रूप में साबित होती है? As far as the natural beauty is concerned, it proves to be a boon for the sheep and other living animals in the forest. The sun provides them a heat and the moonlight provides them a humble light, a very comfortable light, and also the springs or the river's water make them a cooling atmosphere in such a hot season. And now the concluding stanza has a few questions to ask. In the concluding stanza, how do the mighty ones, how do the mighty ones help us? जो मृत लोग हैं वह हमारे लिए किस प्रकार से सहायक होते हैं? The mighty ones leave their writing after their death. That always provides us several types of learning by their important lessons in their text or books whenever we read them. The question next is: how does they come unto us from the heaven? किस प्रकार से वे स्वर्ग से हमारे पास आती हैं? All their writings is just like an immortal drink and it controls everywhere and also as an immortal storage drink. And finally It pours on to the poet from the age of the Hebrew. So the poem comes to conclusion and with a reference like this. And the poet has also the concluding central idea. In this poem, the poet John Keats glorifies the spiritual, natural beauty of the poem, which helps us different ways, and it also makes a peaceful atmosphere for all of us to provide us comfortable sleep, and, and it proves to be a boon for those animals who are in the forest, and also spreads out fragrance and beauty in this reference, and finally finds that the mighty dead ones also become a comfortable note for all of us. The writings that containing by the great writers and offers them after all to find the great lessons from them. And finally, this concludes the central idea of the poem. Thanks for watching, and if you have any problem, you can consult about it at your own questions and comments.
Go. दूसरे में लगा